Today on Whiskermen's Podcast, Beards in Business. In the beard section, we talk about our routine and summarize everything. While over in the business section, we have Melanie from Bellybug, and we also have Darby from Smoking Deuce. Welcome to another episode of Beards in Business. We've got a slam-packed business section today, so in the beard section, we're going to get down and dirty and fast. So today what I want to take is everything that we learned up to this date, and I want to lay it all out, give you some pointers on that. So we started off our journey several weeks ago. We're talking about the wash. You should be washing around 2 to 3 times. Can you do more? Yes. Could you do less? Wouldn't recommend it. The reason that I say 3-ish times a week is because you want to clean it just like your hair. You shouldn't be washing it every day, but there's no harm in washing it every day that I'm aware of. So wash it as you need it when you see what works for you. That has been the key throughout of what works for you. Wash your beard as you go. Again, the wash is going to keep it nice and clean while keeping all your pores moisturized, not sucking out all those nutrients. From there, we're going to use one or the other, or both depending on your situation. The oil, which goes on for your face, hydrates your pores, promotes new growth, strengthens the current growth. Or the butter. The butter has oil properties in it. It's going to do the same thing, but it also softens, conditions the hair. Why I say either or together is one, I personally don't believe that you need to use them both on the same day, with one caveat. If you are cutting your normal routine in half and putting them together to mash up a scent, that makes sense. If you use one in the morning, one in the evening, that is you. Again, your routine is what we're getting at. So oil, butter, I rotate oil one day, butter the next, and so on and so forth, unless I am combining 2 different scents to make a completely new scent. From there, we've also layered in a couple of other things. The beard straightener, which we're taking and we're working on, we use to get the beard as straight as possible. Finding the right straightener for you can be very difficult. I'm in the process of looking for one that I would recommend. Amongst some other options out there for you folks to bring. As soon as I have that, I will bring it. So using the straightener, getting it through. Then from there, you use a comb, brush, just to get it through, get all those entangles out. You should be combing frequently. I am never without arm's reach of a comb, just because it's always nice to get in there and just keep it looking good, and then 2, get those knots and dead hairs out. Brush, which will help soften it up a little bit. Then from there, we added on the balm to kind of keep the flyaways down. So real simple. Of that foundation, you need the wash, oil, butter, comb. Those are the 4 foundations that we set out with. We layered on using straighteners, we layered on the brush, and then lastly, we layered on using the balm. So if you use those, you're going to have the healthiest beard possible. So that is quick down and dirty of the routine, how to do that. Again, oil, butter, you should use one and or the other every day. It's just like going to the gym. If you go to the gym on once a week, you're going to see very minimal results. If you're going every day of the week, you're going to see your strength, endurance, all that stuff improve quicker. Same thing with your beard. You want to take care of it and make sure you're doing that every day. Constant combing, always comb, get those dead hairs out, and keep your beard looking great. So, like I said, we've got a jam-packed business section today. We've got 2 amazing females coming up. So our first guest is going to be Melanie, and then from there, we're going to transition right from Melanie, and we're going to go right into our second guest, another amazing female, both located in Dayton, Ohio area. Both also interacted with on season 11 of the blocks. So after we're done with Melanie, we're going to transition immediately into Darby and her amazing company. So without further ado, let's introduce those 2 ladies respectively. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the business portion of today's episode. Today we have a really special guest for multiple reasons. Her project that she's working on, her business that she's running, is going to change lives. Also from the blocks, was on season 11, had the privilege to be on the same season. And another reason that she's a special guest is she's not too far. She's also a Ohio girl, like me, except maybe not. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I am. Who knows? Um, but thank you so much, Melanie, for coming on today. It's an honor and a privilege to have you as a guest today. So why don't you introduce the audience to yourself and then go into your business and then tell us a little bit about what your business is.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me on here. I'm really excited to get to talk to you again. Sad we're not in person, but yeah, thank you for having me on. My name is Melanie Barrett. I am the CEO and owner of Bailey Bug LLC. Bailey Bug is a company that works with people with disabilities to make coats that are specialized for wheelchairs. So it's patented features for holes in the back for the wheelchair handlebars, vagal nerve stimulators, feeding tubes. It's breakaway safe, all of the features that people in wheelchairs cannot get from a normal coat, that now they have all these safety options available. So it's really great for them and the caretakers too, to make sure everybody is safe and happy and warm.
Yeah, and it's so cool because we actually ran into each other during the summer, and it was funny because right after you left, people in wheelchairs just started coming across me, and it was the weather had started to turn. I think we were at the end of the summer, so we had a couple cool nights, and this one girl had literally a blanket that kept falling and getting caught, and right away it was like, what you do is might be the wrong word, but it humanizes those people that sometimes are embarrassed to be in a wheelchair and they're trying to cover up different things. So what got you into this? Why did you decide to do this specific project?
So the company is called Bailey Bug. The name is very special to me because it's named after my sister Bailey. The company was started in a hole itself because of my sister and her memory. Bailey passed away in 2017 when she was 20 years old, and I was only 19 at the time. So I wanted the people in the world to know who she was and know her story. My mom always told me that no one was ever gone until the last time they spoke their name. So I decided that the world was never going to stop talking about Bailey, even long after I'm gone. And that's where the company started. Then I needed a way to get to those people. How was I going to tell Bailey's story? And I had made this coat for her when I was little. I was 8 years old, and we were taking her to Ponderosa for family dinners all the time. And we had to put her in her 5-point harness, get the coat shoved behind her back, get her arms through the holes for the coat. And it was always really difficult because she didn't have any control over her muscles. So sometimes she would flail and she would rip things off, and it was difficult to travel. So we made this sort of cape for her that went on top of her harness. So it wasn't bulky fabric all over her, shoved behind her sides. It was safe so that if she were to pull out her feeding tube, we could just rip it off in seconds. We wouldn't have to deal with a zipper that might get stuck. You couldn't get to her vagal nerve stimulator if she was having a seizure. Just so many issues with the coat that we were able to fix. So I thought, well, maybe there are other families out there, other wheelchair users that could use something like this. And I joined my college's at the time as a freshman version of Shark Tank, which was called Tiger Tank for the Wittenberg Tigers in Springfield, Ohio, as a freshman. And I ended up winning that competition. So I got a product development internship. I got to work on my designs and safety testing and finding sourcers and manufacturers all summer long. And that's what really took off. I started my marketing. People started to see the product and they were like, wow, I can't believe this has never existed before. So I filed for the patent, not knowing if it would go through, because I was thinking, well, something like this surely exists. And by golly, it doesn't. So I now hold the patent, which is really cool for the design. We're always continuing to add safety features too, but it really just warms my heart because when I do things like the blocks that we were on together, and when I get to go speak in front of people, I'm not only sharing a product that helps a community that I really love and was so important to me, but I'm also telling my sister's story. And it's good for me and my family to keep her alive, her spirit alive, and the happiness within us that we felt when she was here. It feels like she's still here. So it's just amazing all around. And I'm really thankful to be a part of the community still.
Yeah, and that's such a touching story to your sister's story and how you came about this on its own is amazing. And if it ended there, amazing. But then to have a product that is so rare today of you have a product that matches a story. and is honoring of your sister, and will continue for years. That I know you hit a milestone recently that when you first started this, you wanted to get in touch with this company to be able to offer their characters and stuff. So why don't you tell us? I know because I follow you on social media and we've talked about it. Why don't you tell the audience, what that dream was and how that part came about?
So it was so funny because even on the blocks, I was telling everyone, it is my dream to have a little girl go to Disney and buy her own Cinderella wheelchair cape and feel like a princess in her coat, and to be able to work with Disney and get those licensed fabrics so that the little boy can be Superman. We can have a Marvel line. They can feel like the superhero that they are inside, or the little princess that they are inside. That was always my biggest dream because I love princesses, and so do other little girls. And we used to go to the Reds games living in Dayton, and if there would have been a Reds themed wheelchair coat in their gift shop, my parents would have bought that. Absolutely, she would have worn it to every game. People like to have that emotional bond, and when somebody is legally deaf and legally blind and wheelchair bound like my sister was, it's hard to communicate with them. You can't know their favorite animal, their favorite color. So you have to use the clothes that you put them in and the ideas that you give them of what they like and don't like to really try to connect with them on that personal level. And for a mom even to have her little girl in a wheelchair coat that has princesses all over it, and she can say, "This is my little princess," how special that is. So it was funny. I got back from the blocks shortly after, and I was telling another group of people about this dream that I have because it's been my dream for so long. And they said, there's a guy that works at Disney here. And I was like, no way, I got to talk to him. So they walked me over there, and his name is Mike. And I introduced myself and told him about my story and my dream. And we sat down and had coffee. And I'm not licensing with Disney yet, but the start is we're making a couple of samples in some Disney fabrics to show to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. So Make-A-Wish, then, if they like it and they're happy with it, which hopefully they are, we're getting that to them soon, we'll get to start carrying Bailey Bug wheelchair coats for the Make-A-Wish children that get to go to Disney and experience it. So that's the first step really to working with them, and we're moving forward on the collaboration. I'm really excited about it. Hopefully here in the next year or two, you'll see little girls, little princesses rolling around at Disney World feeling as happy and as special as they are on the inside, on the outside too.
You guys, how amazing is that to be? I know there's books and people say it of, I always wanted to do this. It's one thing to say it, it's something else to go out and achieve it. You want to honor your sister and have her name never not be spoken. Then you've taken that and turned it into a full-on business to honor her and continue that. And then the next piece is to get connected, just being connected with Disney, whether you, most people would just, Disney, I'm not going to be able to talk to Disney. That's the holy grail, to have the conversation and still be moving that ball down the field of, we're going to have a Disney line at some point, is so amazing. And it's one thing, and it's probably not, and I hope it is, coming through the camera and watching this is one thing, but when you meet this young lady in person, your story just drills right through people's heart. And they're like, how can I help? Uh, it's such an amazing business that you were able to take into looking at trying to just honor your sisters is such a cool story in of itself. Um,
I
and then
encourage anybody that has a dream out there that thinks, oh, I don't know if I can reach that, or I don't think I can reach that. Because I started this when I was a really young girl, and a lot of people in the business world looked at me and thought, oh, she's not serious. We can't take her seriously. We can't trust these dreams that she has. She won't put action behind them. And I got told no a lot because people didn't believe in me. And that was hard because you know how passionate you are about your product and how real you are and how ready you are to take it on. But I had to start telling myself, with all of these no's I kept getting, like, I'm one no closer to getting the yes. And that's what really changed the game for me, is instead of saying, oh man, no one's going to ever take me seriously, I just started telling myself, I've got this many no's. At the time, I think I said 100 for myself. Said, I've got 100 no's. So I have to keep going out there and asking people, because when I get to that 99th no, I know the next one is going to be a yes. And it wasn't exactly 100, but I tell myself that all the time when things don't work out, when people don't believe in you, when they can't come and be a part of your idea. You're just one step closer to getting to the person that will help you get there. And that's really helped me on my journey. So hopefully that can help somebody else too that's listening.
Yeah, you bring out such a great point. The person who says that they can and the person who says they can't are both right, because it's self-talk. You said, I'm going to do it. I'll take 99 no's. And most people would get to 10, 15 of they don't like me. They don't like my story. They don't like the product. You took that and continue to drive and have it to where you are now of, you get to tune into the season to see um, how things turn out. You can't give any spoilers because the red bearded man Wes will appear and slap us upside the head. No, he wouldn't
Yep.
do that. But we want to make it when it comes out. You guys will enjoy the show. How can people find your product? If they were interested to buy one right now, are you currently selling them? And if so, where?
So we are selling them currently on an individual basis through Amazon. You can also order a custom one through my website, baileybug.org. The .org part is important. You won't find me at .com. So it's BAILEYBUG.org is where you can order a custom. Or like I said, the Amazon store. But we are almost sold out on Amazon right now. I believe I only have 2 left in there, one pink and one lavender, I think. So they are almost sold out. Thankfully, we have more inventory coming soon, but jump on those quick. Big change that we saw in the blocks was from doing these individual ones for customers to going that B2B route and targeting Disney, targeting Fanatics, and getting the MLB and the Big Ten and licensing and nursing homes, assisted living facilities, hospitals in these bigger quantities so that they could provide it to their residents as well. That's kind of the direction we're moving. So grab them on Amazon while you can. We've got another load coming soon. But definitely if you want something custom, go to the website. The email goes straight to me. So I'll see any contact inquiry that comes through. And I would be happy to talk to anybody about any special needs that they have. If they have a special chair and they might need something specific, we can work with you. So we just want to make sure that you're warm, stylish, and safe, like our slogan says. All
Yeah,
season long.
what's amazing of everyone's gonna think we did something magical to where after they listen to this, they're gonna go out and they're gonna be at the grocery store, and a little girl is gonna be being pushed by her mom in a wheelchair, and they're gonna see that they don't have your product, and they've got a coat wrapped around them, and it's just aesthetically not pleasing to the eye. The child will look out of place almost, and they're gonna start seeing this more and more. And when you see that, this is when you need to be bold. That's my word of the year for 24 is be bold. I want go up to that person and say, hey, I know of a product that I think would really support you, and introduce them to this amazing lady and this product. We get to see, I know one of the memories that I have was when I think it was maybe day 4 or 5 when we all started hitting the delirium side of the blocks
Oh,
where
yeah.
Tony was running around in a wheelchair and had your product on. I hope they caught that on film because that needs to be aired. But people will see that. So, you know, I thank you so much for coming on. I don't have any other questions, but I want to give you the opportunity to add anything, whatever you like at this time.
Sure, yeah. And thank you so much for having me. I guess if I'm gonna leave some last words, besides the coat that we offer for wheelchairs, I encourage everyone to think about the adaptive community just more. If you see somebody out, little girls used to come up to my dad and say, "Oh, what's wrong with her?" To my sister, and he'd say, "There's nothing wrong with her. She's just different." So people in wheelchairs, people with any kind of adaptability, disability, they are all people. We all have really unique, special things about us. And if you see someone that you might not approach because you're not sure what's going on, approach them, say hi. Like, you don't know who is going to be your next best friend or what you can learn from people. So just start to encourage people to go out and be a part of the adaptive community and make it more inclusive for everybody, because that's what's going to make the world continue to be happy and loving and everyone together and understood.
Amazing. And I did that after I saw you at the festival. I went over to the lady, and you could do it tactfully, like, what's wrong? What's wrong with you is not the right way to go about things. But hey, how are you? I see, I went over to her and I specifically did what you just said. I was like, hey, I see you've got this cover that keeps falling off. What if I could introduce you to a better solution? The mom literally broke down in tears because no one's ever approached her
Yeah.
and said, hey, I don't know if you'd be interested, but I know someone who might be able to solve this problem. Like you said, you could literally change someone's trajectory in life by just being kind. And I think the more kindness we have in today's society could change the world. And I know you've got probably one of the kindest hearts I've come across in a very long time. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. And I can't wait until you're sold out on Amazon of Disney and MLB and everything else, which is not going to be long. So guys, we'll put all of our contact information and links up at the end. And Melanie, thank you so much for being a guest on today's show. We greatly appreciate it. Today we've got a special guest with us, also I almost said Hawaii. I guess I'm having fun to be there in Ohio, not far from us down in the Cincinnati area. We had the pleasure of meeting not only you but your amazing family. When we were filming season 11, you were one of the casting directors among hundreds of that haven't even titled. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to you. Give us a quick introduction of who you are, and then go into tell us your business and then a little bit about your business.
All right, what's up, everybody? My name is Darby Dennis, and my wife and I are the proud owners of Smokin' Do's Barbecue and Shakes. We it's a food truck. We do pulled pork, pulled chicken, mac and cheese, baked beans, coleslaw, cornbread, and then we throw some fun flavored milkshakes in there. We were on season 8 of The Blocks. We are casting directors and as well as pod directors. We met John at season 11. Like you said, we brought our family down there. We're just super entrepreneurs. We love it. We work hard. We hustle. We love our family, and I just love what we do.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I know that stuck out is you had your wife with you that was working in one pod, you're in another pod, and then you had that were working. And I remember at one point your kids were some of the hardest working folks out there, which is cool. So as we get into the business part of this, I think one thing that makes you guys successful, and then you can tell me if I'm completely off base or not, is being a small business separates us from big business. Small is just better. But I think having a family oriented business even takes it to that next level of the whole team's involved. So it's not like, I know when I was working a traditional 9 to 5, wife was never on board with it 100% because you're gone and it's not something.
Yeah.
When you've got that working there on the truck with you, pulling the pork and doing all the stuff, it's got to bring that cohesiveness together. Can you go into a little bit of details for those that don't understand what a family business is like?
Oh, yeah. I mean, first, let me give you a little bit of background. I grew up with parents who were entrepreneurs. I watched my parents build and rebuild and do it again 5 different times. My parents owned and operated 5 businesses. So I've literally been working since I was 7. That's everywhere from sweeping beauty salon floors to leveling out gravel and construction sites. My dad was a builder. My mom did beauty salons all the way up to daycares and working with young adults with disabilities. They've kind of done mortgage companies. They've kind of done an array of things. So I grew up in that industry. And Gio was just did a lot of MLM. She had a lot of background starting businesses younger in her life. And then when we met, it was just like, we already know where we're going, and it's entrepreneurship 100%. So working with family business, it's nice. One, we get to write our own schedule, so we don't miss kids' events. We get to plan our family vacations. Having the kids work with us, it's very nice. One, we're teaching them work ethic. We get to train them and mold them into being adults who know what accountability is. They know what responsibility is. They know how to work hard. They take initiative. And it's time well spent with your kids. They're working hard. And they enjoy it. They can go out, and all of my kids are employed. Our youngest is 9. She works with us in the summer. Every time there's a food truck job, she's on there. She's running the cash window. She's making orders. She's taking orders. She knows how to do it all. Every single one of our kids is trained in every aspect. They know how to shop. They know how to cook. They know how to run an event if I'm not there, all the way on to like turning on the generator to closing down an entire event. They're not afraid to talk to people. It's important that kids, and our twins are 19, our son is 17, and Tegan is 9. And they know all the stages of how to run our business. They watch us do it. They sit down and watch us go over our books. It's important to teach them that. These are the kids that are going to be leading the world one day. And why not teach them these things? It's important. And it's fun.
I know one thing that particularly jumps out from your twins that run the show with us is not only were they super intelligent and they have that entrepreneur spirit, but being at their age, that 18, 19, the typical, yeah, whatever, just attitude. Your kids were the complete opposite.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. No, ma'am. How can I help? Let me, it was not the typical. And I think that ties into that entrepreneur, getting them introduced into the business world. So
Yeah.
not only did you already pointed out some of the perks and the reasons why, but out of all of the entrepreneur things, you said you were doing it from a young age with your parents. Your wife has amazing background in MLM, so there's a massive amount of businesses that you could have got into and been successful. I have no doubt in my small brain that you guys would have been successful, whatever it was. But what made you go into this specific, not only going into a food truck, but why this specific? And that's now the brain is starting to come around. It's because you have pulled pork. My mind went directly to Hawaii. So now that people, why did you guys decide to go into this of all things?
Okay. Well, first of all, I would have never in a million years chosen to do barbecue. It's probably my least favorite food. That's the total truth. The reason we ended up with a barbecue truck is because when we purchased our first trailer, the guy threw in all of the barbecue equipment he had, and I was like, well, we won't have to spend any more money on new equipment, so let's just make a barbecue menu. And it was easy enough. It worked, and people loved it. So we did it. I just learned to cook barbecue, and we did an easier menu. I mean, my menu's simple, but people love it. It's pulled pork, it's pulled chicken, mac and cheese, baked beans, and coleslaw and cornbread. It's simple. My prep time, I can cook for 300 people in about 2 hours, minus the pulled pork and the pulled chicken, because I'm slow cooking it. You know what I mean? But it's like I can cook for that many people in that amount of time. It's easy and it's simple. And if I'm doing 2 and 3 events in a day, I need to be able to cook that food quick. So I just made it simple for myself. Now, me personally, I've been in the food industry since I was 14. My first job was in a restaurant bussing tables. No matter where I went in life or what I did, lots of things. I have a teaching degree. I have an early childhood education. Never was a teacher. I was a director at a daycare. I would have never wanted to be a teacher, but I needed it to be a director of a daycare. So I went and I did it. I've worked in cemeteries. I've been a bartender, you name it. I've done it because I never knew exactly what I wanted to do. But in between all of my jobs, I always went back to the service industry, and I always went back to a restaurant. I always wanted to be in the kitchen. I love cooking at home, and I love serving people. It's just what I love. I love serving people through good tasting food. It makes my heart feel good. It fills my cup. I love it. I love cooking at home. I love cooking in my truck. I love serving people, to watch them take a bite of your home cooked food, of your homemade recipes. It's just, it warms my heart, makes me feel good. And it's my mom's recipes. We cook my mom's recipes. So I feel like I'm getting to live out my mom's legacy by cooking her food, and I just love it.
Yeah, and that's even a cooler little detail of how you're even threading in, extended family of not just who's working inside of it, but you're pulling from your childhood of bringing that in, and having tied into that.
Yeah, and honestly, it even goes a little further than that, because as a kid, I remember with my mom and dad, we also used to work the county fairs and the state fairs. We would sell Snapple, and my dad patented his own chili. It was called Roadhouse Chili, and I remember he'd be whipping that stuff up, and he'd bottle it up, and we'd go out to the county fairs and we'd sell it. And we've just always done that stuff. My parents were just go-getters, and I'm so glad it trickled down.
That story is so cool. and what I think I don't want to overlook is you got into food industry was kind of where that was your safe space.
Yeah.
But to pick barbecue, I mean, I get it. If someone's all the barbecue stuff, it's like, why try to go do Italian? It doesn't make sense, right? You're going to add
Yeah.
cost. So to take that and take something that's not your, your cup of tea and spin it into this business and make it work, and then be able to tie the family in and take old recipes and stuff is really a testament to your character as a person, which I definitely don't want our audience to overlook. Of that takes a big person to say, you know what, I personally, not my favorite to eat this, but I know it's going to be successful, and will pour my heart and put the family's heart and love into this and make it what it is.
Yeah, listen, I think there's something to be said. Like, you're an entrepreneur, so you want things to go your way naturally. But there's also something to be said. If you're an entrepreneur, you have to learn to roll with the punches, because things don't go your way. They don't. As an entrepreneur, they just don't always go your way. And sometimes you have to put your foot down because they have to go your way. But in times like this, that was a situation where I was like, I'm going to save a ton of money on buying equipment, or having to provide this, or having to provide that. He's throwing in, I mean, I got 4 pieces of commercial equipment out of it. I didn't have to buy it. It was already approved. Yeah. Let's just roll with it. I just build the menu around the equipment. Why not?
Right.
You know what I mean? So it makes sense.
A lot of entrepreneurs want to go in and they have this great vision and they're like, well, it needs to be, this has to be perfect. This has to be perfect. And then 6 months, year later, they're no longer in business. They're on the or they're working.
Yeah, and see, it worked for us almost instantly. I'm not gonna lie. We bought our first trailer on Facebook Marketplace. It was an 8x10. The guy ran a barbecue business out of it for like 5 years. He said he did great, and I trusted him. I didn't know him. I met him on Facebook Marketplace. I just trusted that. I was like, okay, cool. And we did it. We did it for 10 months. And our first 10 months in business, which was May through like, I don't know, March, we did enough business to go out and build our own custom trailer, which is what we're serving in now. And now I have everything that I want, with all of the equipment that I wanted, with the same menu. We just added weird things. Like, we upped our menu with the same food. We make a grilled mac and cheese. We make a burrito with all of our ingredients in it: mac and cheese, baked beans, coleslaw, pulled pork, and pulled chicken with barbecue sauce. We roll it up and we grill it, and people love it. Same menu items, new menu items. People love it.
Well, you've just driven something very important for me for a future podcast. Never schedule someone who's going to talk about food during the lunch hour, because I'm super hungry now. I have to fucking drive down to Cincinnati.
Hey, you're going to be here next weekend. Tell me what time you're coming. I'll make you one.
Yeah, well, it definitely is. So cool, and we've kind of teased at it a little bit. So where can folks find you?
Oh, okay. So, and listen, it's winter months, so I'm honestly not doing a lot right now, but we have some things coming up. Obviously I'm booking all for spring, summer, and fall. Gio and I are also opening up a cafe and lounge right now. I don't know if you know that too.
Yeah,
we're opening up.
Where are you guys doing this for the audience that wants to be like, that sounds delicious, I want to come?
Yeah, so we're located in Liberty Township, Ohio, Westchester area. In the winter, usually between Thursday or Saturday, you can find me at Old Village Tavern. If you're in the Cincinnati area or Westchester area, I'm always on the weekends. You can usually find me in Westchester area at Old Village Tavern on Cincinnati Dayton Road. Other than that, I'm really not out in the winter time. I'm not. If I am, it's somebody who's privately booked me, or a brewery that's booked me. But if you're looking for me, find me on Facebook or Instagram. Street Food Finder, it's an app you can download. It'll tell you where all the open food trucks are in your area within like a 50-mile radius. But yeah, just stay up to date on social media. I post when I'm out.
Yeah, and then at the end of this episode, we'll go ahead and put all your social media contacts for folks that want to find you, follow, share, like, all that.
Yeah,
stuff.
for sure.
Ultimately, come bite into your food.
Yes.
So those are really all the questions I have. I'm sure I missed something, so I want to give you the opportunity. The floor is yours. Whatever you'd like to say, anything at this point.
Man, I think you having a podcast on here, giving entrepreneurs a chance to come out here and just, spread some love, talk to other entrepreneurs. I think it's a great platform to be able to do that. So I appreciate you having me, and I appreciate you taking the time to do this for people. I think it's great. I'm glad that we had the opportunity to meet at the blocks.
Yeah, it's awesome. And then I know our viewers are starting to get sick of hearing about the blocks. Because we keep almost every person that's on here is guys, you got to get involved in that community.
It's literally, I can't, like, it sounds corny or maybe even cringy. I don't even care. It's literally that program changed my life. That whole organization changed my life. It did.
And you and your wife believe in this so much that, correct me if I'm wrong, if you hold up, I believe, your left forearm, you actually put it on your body of how much you love the blocks of putting the astronaut. So, I mean,
Right
guys,
here. She's got one too. And listen, more than that, we volunteered. We volunteered to fly out there and help them film. We just came home January. I go back on the in February. I told them I'll come out whenever they want me.
yeah. So, guys, if you
So
go,
yeah.
if you look up the blocks, BLOX, it's a program that if you're privileged enough to get into, to get on the show, it'll change your life. It's changed
Yeah.
small businesses as long as you're open and take the information. So
Yeah.
you guys got to get on that. So, Darby, thank you so much for being on this episode.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, what an amazing jam-packed business section. Opposite ends of the spectrum, two amazing ladies doing great things in Ohio. Melanie and her wheelchair capes, getting out there, giving privacy back, and making fashion acceptable for those in wheelchairs. And then, boy, if you're not hungry after listening to Darby and that amazing food truck, I don't know what your secret is. Share it with us. So, what an amazing two ladies. Blessed to have met both of them. Local, interacting with them still in the Ohio region, amazing. So, thank you so much for making it through today's podcast. As always, shout out to our first responders, our veterans, our military community. Folks, if you can't get behind them, feel free to get in front of them. We'll see you on a very, very special episode coming next week from inside the location. You got to tune in. This is going to be another slam-packed business. Next week, we're going to be we're getting closer and closer to St. Patrick's Day. So a big St. Patrick's Day event for the local Dayton area. So make sure you're tuning in next week to hear this amazing cousins business. You don't want to miss that episode. We'll see you.